So, what are you escaping from? What were we all escaping from? Whether you're actively drinking or you're not, what what was it? Emotions? Was it depression issues, escaping anxiety? I feel like they're all the core reasons why people substance abuse, right? Anxiety, depression, emotion, trauma, right? The problem is reality is always there. It's always there, no matter what you're using, and it's costing you money, time, wasted time, just to escape a reality that is inevitably always there. I always knew the next day I'd wake up to a harsher reality, right? I always knew that throughout the years of doing it. But you're escaping something. You're it's that turn off switch, right? It's that mute button, you know? And when you go a year plus sober, you don't have that, right? I went a step further. Like I gave up nicotine as well. I gave up the foods for the most part. I've been slacking lately, but so I didn't really have any vice besides caffeine. It made it that much harder. Like a lot of people still have their nicotine when they go sober. I respect that. But I know what it's like to go that step further and really deplete everything out. It's hard, but it's doable. And there's times you'll get caught up in like having to deal with your emotion, having to deal with your anxiety, your depression. You have to face it head on without escaping. And there's days where you're gonna feel low, that's just natural. There's just days where you're tired. You just gotta get through it and keep going. You gotta do things you don't want to do. The uncomfortability, being uncomfortable, is what builds you, right? People live way too long in a comfort zone and they never build. They make so many easy choices throughout life that it gets hard. And I can relate to that too in my 20s. I made so many easy choices. My life got a little harder. But now that I'm making the harder choices, it's getting a bit easier. I wish I could go back. It is what it is. You can't cry over spilt milk. Water under the bridge. You get the point. But you're escaping from something that is inevitably going to be there every day. And the fix is to better your life so you don't want to escape it. But your brain's wired, so it's like a catch-22. It's so hard to build that foundation. I still struggle with it almost 2 years in. But you want to, every single day, you want to 0.001% better, 0.1% better your life every month, and it builds over time. And then you build something you don't want to escape from. It's never foolproof. Minus the mansions, exotic cars and everything, I have everything I want in life. I'm happy. I'm not super rich. I'm not poor. I do okay. I've made a lot of bad decisions, good decisions in my life, financially, ups and downs. That's life. That's what builds you. That's what makes you learn. What's that saying? If you fail and don't learn from it, that's a double failure, right? You want to constantly learn. They are lessons, and at the time you might not think of them like that. I spent my time walloping in pity, sorrow, and depression in my young 20s, and it got me nowhere. It does not get you anywhere. The only person you can fully rely on is you and the good Lord up above, or whatever you may believe in, And if there's nothing, if you're atheist, then you have to believe in yourself. Otherwise, what is there to look forward to? I don't know. It's a whole other topic. But yeah, you have to really rationalize. You're just digging a deeper hole, even if it's minuscule amounts, every time you substance abuse and escape, you're not getting anywhere. You're spending money, you're hurting your body, you're toxifying your body, no matter what the substance is. And, I get people in their young 20s partying. Like, I don't preach to anybody unless they ask, but like, I know 21-year-olds. There's a kid that came into work with his face all messed up. He fell, got beat up, walked into something, I don't know. But the first thing I said was, "Oh, you got liquored up, huh?" "Yep, I never learned." And he's 21, and I'm thinking, man, you're going to be falling down a lot the next few years. And I did not preach to him because I was the same way. And he's going to do it, and there's a lot of fun times to be had, but hopefully this said person or just people in general don't develop an issue out of it. But he's 21, and he was like, "Yeah, I just never learned. I do it again the next week." And I'm like, "Hey, well, you're in for many years of never learning," because I remember so many times being like, "I'm done." The next weekend, right back to it, right? It's crazy. It's like insanity. I honestly just say to people like that, I say, just enjoy yourself. You're young. That's all there is to it. You have to learn on your own. It's not my place to be like, "Hey man, you got to watch out." I'll say stuff like, just be careful with it, try to be responsible. But when you're that age, it is what it is. So I don't preach. I don't preach to 50-year-old men that have nothing and are at the bar all the time. So, people want to ask me, I'll talk about it. But yeah. People need to learn on their own, and they need to learn to love themselves. The whole filling the void is something I still struggle with. I'm doing it with food at times, impulse spending. I'm trying to fill a void within myself, and that's something I still struggle with. Like, the whole impulsivity and addictive personality never ends. You just have to sort of moderate it. And I know I'm still trying to fill a void, right? And it's all temporary. Like, people will tell you this, and it's very true when it comes to like alcohol, drugs in general, sex, impulse spending, approval seeking. It's all temporary. Okay, it's so temporary. It fills that void. It gives you that dopamine, that serotonin hit, and then it's gone again. Like, when I buy something, I'll feel good for like a day. I'll admire it. I'm very nostalgia driven. Like, I spend a lot of money on stuff that's nostalgic to me, and it evokes emotion later on, so it's worth it to me. But at the time, I get that like fulfillment. I store it away, or I display it, and then I move on, and then it's like I forget about it, and it's like right back, the next thing. It'll never end, But do I regret buying the things I have? No, not at all. I enjoy it. It's a hobby, but there definitely is a form of filling a void there, right? Same with sex. It's in all forms. It's everywhere, and you have to really moderate it. Even in moderation. And that's really the key. But the point of this video is like, what are you escaping from? If you're depressed, maybe more gym time, work on your diet. If it's anxiety, work on yourself. It might alleviate that. Maybe seek medication if that may help you. It's not for everybody. Are you just escaping a reality you don't want to be in? You have to make your reality better, right? What does Wes Watson say? The world is not as it is as you are. And it's very true. If you're an overly negative person, the world's going to seem overly negative. If you're overly positive, the world's going to seem overly positive. It's like Einstein's theory of relativity. I'm pretty sure he said a minute on a hot cool, like standing on a hot cool barefoot, feels like an hour. An hour courting a beautiful woman feels like a minute. And it's all relative. It's like your weekends. They go so quick because you're enjoying yourself. You're doing what you want. Time flies. And then at work, it feels like forever because you don't want to be there. It's relativity. And this one's been beaten to a horse, but the definition has been beaten like a dead horse. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. definition of insanity, which you've had to have heard it, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I used to ream that quote into my head because I was constantly doing the same things over and over and getting no different results. You know, if there's no change, there's no change, right? It's very true. So yeah, identify what you're really escaping from. If you're just a social drinker having fun, and you don't really have any underground issue, it might be a little different for you. You might just be picking up a habit. You might need to moderate. You know, it might not be as bad. I think escaping reality compared to just socially drinking is more detrimental, but socially drinking can still become an habitual thing. You know, if you're out multiple nights a week, but it's like two different things. Don't really know what else to say on this topic. It's just you need to work on your foundation, and it alleviates a lot of the other issues, you know. But yeah, that's about it.